Hi, how are you doing? My name is Rohit and I'll be breaking down the 39th match of this year's IPL, which saw the Chennai Super Kings taking on the Lucknow Super Giants in the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. This is a rematch of a game that just happened last Friday, except in Chennai, and the results stayed the same. Lucknow wins. This time they win by 6 wickets, with Marcus Stoinis' 124 overpowering Ruturaj Gaikwad's 108. And here's the thing. When you look at CSK's batting, nothing really changes compared to how they've been throughout the season. For the 8th consecutive game, CSK fails to get a 50-run opening partnership. To my knowledge, they are the only team in this year's IPL to not have an opening stand of 50 runs or more. Ajinkya Rahane gets out in the first over, which then kind of starts a anchor at one end, aggressor at the other end situation, with Ruturaj Gaikwad being the aggressor, and he maintained that aggression and that pace throughout the entire innings. His strike rate was always around 160 to 180. He finishes with a strike rate of 180, scoring 108 runs from 60 balls. He paced his innings very well. He did not throw away his wicket. He just picked opportunities where he could, and it shows. 12 fours, 3 sixes, and you never felt like Ruturaj Gaikwad was trying to overhit the ball. He just saw where the gaps were, and he just tried to place it through the gaps, get runs wherever possible, run the quick ones and twos, which helped. Unfortunately, Gaikwad did not get any support at the other end, with Daryl Mitchell and Ravindra Jadeja both getting out for relatively cheaply, and neither of whom could actually really get going. Gaikwad finally got support in the form of Shivam Dube, who once again continues his good form, 66 from 27, and he just finds a way to make any ground work. He's found a way to just swing at any ground and just hit the ground running from the first ball, which is excellent because that's been the reason why CSK has been one of the best batting teams in the middle and death overs, because of Shivam Dube's ability to accelerate on any ground. Because of that, CSK is powered to a massive 210, which, by Ruturaj Gaikwad's admission, was an above par score. And Shivam Dube, when asked about it at the mid-innings break, agreed. They both mentioned that there was some dew, and that dew did come into play at the second innings when LSG batted to chase this down, but people will say that the dew really impacted the way CSK used their bowlers. I personally disagree. LSG lost wickets pretty regularly early on, putting LSG quickly on the back foot. What CSK did wrong was mainly just in the field, either just not communicating in the field to get catches, letting balls fall safely between multiple fielders, or just misfielding and either palming balls over the boundary, or just misfielding and just letting it roll through you into the boundary for 4. So the bowling was solid in the early overs. Deepak Chahar gets Quinton de Kock out early. Multiple wickets in the power play, which has been a rarity for CSK. In the middle overs, they've been fine. But what ended up happening was Marcus Stoinis actually just stood his ground. He didn't try to put his wicket in harm's way. And whatever false stroke the CSK bowlers did elicit out of him, they would fall safely. Sometimes that happens. But the main concern for CSK, and if you're a CSK fan, is the death bowling. Matisha Patirana cannot be the only reliable death bowler for CSK. They tried Mustafizur Rahman today. He went for a lot of runs. Poor line and lane control in the death overs, especially in that last over when LSG needed 17. When a team needs 17, 18 in the last over, realistically it's about a 50-50. Both sides could easily win. It just depends on how well the first 2 balls go. The first 2 balls went very well for LSG, very poorly for CSK. Marcus Stoinis hits one straight down the ground for 6, and then gets another one for 4. So that already reduces it from 17 from 6 to 7 from 4. That is 100% advantage to the batting team. But what Mustafizur did poorly was not understanding his own lines and lengths and not playing to his own strengths. Mustafizur knows how to use variations at the back end. It's why he got the reputation he did, and why he's been so effective for CSK in the early and middle overs. But Mustafizur did not use any of those variations at the back end. He failed to understand where Stoinis was at the crease and basically served him a half tracker, which Stoinis promptly deposited into the stands. He does not correct his line or length on the next ball, giving Stoinis another freebie, which is hit very hard down the ground for 4. Nobody can stop that. And then from there, it's just CSK's errors just keep compounding on themselves. Mustafiza gives up another 4, which also ends up being a no ball, and then Marcus Stoinis finishes it off on a free hit, successfully winning LSG the highest chase in the entire Chepak. Very well done to Marcus Stoinis, very well done to LSG. But if you're a CSK fan, if you're a CSK supporter, you have to start thinking about what to do with the death bowling. In my opinion, Mustafiza Rahman should not be a death bowler for CSK. That death bowling from him has not been up to par as it should be. Instead, CSK would be much better off relying on either Shardul Thakur or Tushar Deshpande alongside Matisha Patirana, who already has been phenomenal in the death overs. Mustafiza has been incredible in the power play and the middle overs for CSK. That's where he's been best. In my opinion, take away some of the overs from Deshpande and Shardul in the middle overs, give them to them at the death, and then take Mustafiza's death overs and use them in the middle. That way, it gives CSK something, and it could work. Because Shardul Thakur and Tushar Deshpande have shown that they can bowl at the death, and they can take wickets, and they know how to use some variations to try and get batters out. And right now, what CSK has been doing has not been working. It's high time to make a change at that. And another place where CSK needs to make a change is probably their opening combination. Ajinkya Rahane has been struggling this season. Ruturaj Gaikwad has finally rolled into form. In the past 4 games, Ruturaj Gaikwad has had 2 half-centuries and then a century today. So, Ruturaj rolling into form, great. Daryl Mitchell at number 3 has not necessarily been working. Jadeja at 4 in the power play. That makes sense because CSK needs someone with veteran experience and savvy to arrest a batting collapse before it happens, and then whatever runs can be scored should be scored. Jadeja fills that role well. He does not allow a further batting collapse to happen. And I think the role is simple. If the second wicket falls outside the power play, send in Shivam Dubey at 4. So that's not really an issue. But what is an issue is the fact that the second opening spot has not been settled, and the number 3 has also not been settled. Ruturaj Gaikwad has been incredibly solid, so that's one slot just locked in. But between Rachin Ravindra, Ajinkya Rahane, and Daryl Mitchell, the next 2 slots, the second opener and number 3, have been very poor returns for CSK. So they have to figure out who plays where and what the best combination is. Because, yes, CSK's middle order has been incredible this season. However, you can't rely on your middle order the whole time. The top order has to eventually fire. The question is, where do you get that firepower from? Otherwise, both teams played well. I'd say LSG played better, and it reflects in the fact that they won. And LSG has less questions to answer because, again, they're winning. And also, LSG now moves up to number 4 with 10 points, currently sitting in the playoff race. CSK moves down to number 5, being out of the playoff race for the first time since the start of the season. However, their big wins early on in the season give them a huge net run rate boost, meaning a couple of wins here and there and a couple of losses from the teams above them, CSK is back in the mix. So LSG and CSK, for the most part, still control their own destiny, but it's just a matter of who can peak at the right time. And right now, it looks like LSG is peaking as they should. With that, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. And with that, I'll be back for the next one. Have a good one.